If you think their grammar's bad, wait till you see them in person. Here's what's coming up on the Nice Guys today.
All right, so I got to ask this question before we even get into the depth of the interview, though. Who do you relate to more, me or Strick?
Oh, you for sure. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
For sure.
Hold on. I got to get it. I got to call Strickland. Hold on. Okay, so why?
Wait, is that a bingo square? Did I just get a bingo square?
Oh, Chantee even knows that we play bingo. What are some of the common mistakes that you see in your world?
Gossiping, treating it like it's not a job again, and talking about personal matters, whether it's on social media or while a client is in your chair. These bitches aren't your friends.
That's got to be the leading quote.
I stole that from a makeup artist named Bo Nelson, and he said that at the beginning of a conference when somebody asked him about working with celebrities, what the biggest mistake people make was, and he said, these bitches aren't your friends. Don't treat them like they're your friends. So I really do live by that.
The Nice Guys on Business podcast. The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebs, dickheads. They think they're righteous dudes. Need an education on how to grow your business? The Nice Guys are here to help. Learn about great customer service, networking, and how just being nice can help you prosper. Now, here are your hosts, Doug Sandler and Strickland Bonner.
Welcome back, Funkin' fans. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is middle of the week. My name is Strickland Bonner. On the other side of the microphone, Mr. Doug Sandler, and I just have one thing to say, Doug.
Are you going to say no?
Oh, yeah, what?
No pits or tits?
No. I'm gonna say these bitches ain't your friends.
Wait a minute. Who's the bitches and why aren't they my friends?
Oh, you totally don't remember that from the interview, right?
Oh.
Yeah, no pits, no tits. You see, the no pits and no tits, that is Chantee's dress code for herself, which is fine, but I think it's
that's right.
more
You're
interesting.
right. Sorry.
The other philosophy that she had when she has got people in her makeup chair, right? And like maybe you are doing makeup for some famous people, guess what? These bitches ain't your friends. All right?
What I think we really need to do, Strick? I think we need to take a quote from the one that stands out the most, and we need to make that the title of the episode. Who does the titles? Do you or Anna do the titles?
Anna usually does it, but I'm doing the show notes this week because Anna's in Germany.
Well, she's in Germany? What's she doing in Germany?
Yeah. She's got her grandmother. Her grandmother's got a big birthday, and she's flying over there to celebrate.
Have you ever been to Germany?
No,
I've never been there either. Do they?
Are we going off the rails already? This is a Wednesday show. Let's not go down that path, Doug.
Okay.
Let's not go down that path.
What I was thinking, though, my question, I guess where I started was, I think we should take a quote like "These bitches ain't your friends." That was a great quote, and I forgot completely that was a quote. I've done this in how many weeks ago did I do the interview? Probably did 3 or 4.
Like a month.
Yeah,
ago,
like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I didn't remember that. Now I wrote really big, no pits or tits as a part. Confessions. That should be the title. No pits or tits. Confessions of a rising makeup artist. I like that.
Well, that's what you wanted for the title.
Yeah.
I think These Bitches Ain't Your Friends is better.
I am going to let you pick. Either one of those would be complete winners. And our Nice Guy community, they have no idea what we're even talking about. So Chantee Willis.
I know because they haven't heard the interview yet.
Yeah. I met Chantee at a C-suite event in May, and she was the makeup artist that was in the green rooms getting everybody set up for their performance on stage. And she was so caring and so wonderful and so personal with the people that were sitting in her chair. And I was the guy that was wrangling all the speakers, so I would bring all the speakers into the room. I'd introduce them to Chantee, and she would just take over. And she made them feel so comfortable with exactly what was going on, not only in the makeup chair, but the entire process. Let me take a look at the lights. Let me see if this is going to be right. Just a wonderful person. So I said, if she's this good in the chair, I wonder how she is as a business owner, if she owns the business. So I started talking to her about the business, and we get into the entire conversation in the green room. The green room, by the time that the conference was over, the green room was the happening place. That was the place everybody wanted to hang out because Chantee was there, and I want to take some credit for being there, and that's why people wanted to be there. But I really think they just wanted to see Chantee and how amazing she was.
It's kind of like all the best parties end up in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
All the best shows and conferences end up in the green room.
In the green room. Well, everybody wanted to be a part of the green room at the C-Suite conference in Dallas, and Chantee did not disappoint. So Chantee, believe it or not, was thinking also, and you'll hear this when you. I don't think she mentions this in the interview, but I found this out, I think last week. She actually wants to start a podcast of her very own.
Well, she did mention it a bit in the interview.
She
you
does?
mentioned that she would be very good at it, and she said she wasn't sure she could carry it by herself, but that she'd been considering it. So
interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
cool.
found her very interesting, and I understand this was the very first podcast she ever did. Is that right?
Very first podcast. At least I think it was.
So you took her podcast cherry. Is that what you're saying?
Gosh, what a wonderful thought. Oh, what are we talking about? Sorry. Yeah, I think I did. I think she was a virgin to podcasting before she met me. I'm not. I know that she listens to podcasts, but I don't know that she had ever been on one. I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping that she liked it. I hope she liked the entire experience. I think that she did, or maybe I think.
Listeners, thank you for Overcast recommendations, because you have made us number one in the business category in Overcast, and we totally appreciate it, but we need more recommends all the time, every episode.
Strick, when's the last time you went through your, I know that you don't have an iOS device, so you have to open up or an iOS, whatever, on a regular basis, so you have to use your iPad? Your iPad 1?
I do. I have an iPad that I use. I have an iPad 2, actually, that I use with the band, and that's where I subscribe on Overcast because it's the only place I can get it. It's the only place I have an iOS operating system. And it was just last week, I think, I went back and recommended all of the back episodes. I had about probably 20, 25 episodes.
Yes, I love that. And it really makes a difference, a huge difference. It will make us rise on the ranking system, and we were as high as number 3. I think right now we're number 6 in the overall. We're still number 1 in the business category. Crazy. And Strickland,
love it.
92,500 fucking downloads in the month of June.
Oh, it's
92,500. We are busting down the door of 100,000 downloads. People, nice guy community, fucking fans. What the hell? This is amazing.
What percentage is from Overcast?
Okay, so I wanted to, this is a Wednesday show, right, that we're doing?
Yeah. Did we talk about that on Tuesday?
Yeah, I shared that with you yesterday, but I'm not necessarily going to cover that today. If you want to hear more about the download count and where it comes from, go back and listen to Tuesday's show. In addition to the entire shittery that we get into on Tuesday. You're funny, Strickland. You are a funny guy. You brought up some funny conversations, and we almost.
But yesterday I brought up some good stuff.
Yeah, we almost got to a topic too. We're so close.
Almost.
So close. Yeah. All right. So in the meantime, recommend us on Overcast. Thank you for all our contributors to Patreon. Go to patreon.com/nice guys and help us by contributing to the show. We have different bonus amounts from $1 up to $1,500. And thank you to all of our Patreon patrons for the month of July as well. Wait a minute. Yesterday, I think you may have mentioned everybody yesterday. Did you? I can't remember.
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I did, because it was our first of the month episode.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to do you have anything else before we get to our interview with Chantee?
No, all good. Let's get to it.
All right, let's get to the interview. Chantee Willis here on the Nice Guys on Business podcast, proud to be affiliated with the C-Suite Radio Network and the Greatness Podcast Network as well. Let's do it. The goddess of the green room and the maven of makeup. She's here today. Yeah, that's right. I first met Chantee Willis in the green room at C-Suite Conference in Dallas. And not only really fell in love with her work, but now know what separates the good from the great when it comes to providing service. I mean, the things that we learn from a makeup artist. Here to talk about her rise to greatness. Chantee, rise to greatness. How to powder up that shiny face and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Welcome, Chantee, to the Nice Guys podcast.
Wow, thank you. Quite an introduction.
I was so taken by just the level of treatment that you had. And the Nice Guy community doesn't even know what we're talking about yet. So why don't we back up a little? Before we even get into how I met you, I want to know about, so you are actually a fan of the show, right? You listen to the show?
I am, yeah. And I've actually gotten quite a few of my colleagues turn on to the show as well. Because I really do preach knowing the business side of things, even if you're just, turning your hobby into a career, you should know the business side. So I think it's important. And a lot of business podcasts are kind of boring. So,
meh.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So I got to ask this question before we even get into the depth of the interview, though. Who do you relate to more, me or Strick?
Oh, you for sure. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
For sure.
Hold on. I got I got to call Strickland. Hold on. No, okay. So why?
Wait, is that a bingo square? Did I just get a bingo square?
Oh, Chantee even knows that we play bingo. Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember sending you a bingo card, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
We haven't quite figured out how to get a guest into the bingo square, but that probably would be a really tough square to get. But all right, so wait, let's go back for a second.
Okay.
So why me over Strickland? And I'm very curious as to this answer, because we very rarely have anybody that comes on the show that's actually, except for making them force listen to the show. I think you actually voluntarily listen to the show.
Listen, it's nothing too deep. You cuss a lot, and I like that. So I think that's like the big winner. You cuss a lot.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if that's all it takes to win over a guest, I'm going to do this more often. But it's interesting because we do have, as a matter of fact, I was just reading a post that I had on, we posted that Hell Yes, we're number one on Facebook. And since this is coming out, I'm not on Facebook, on Overcast. Since this is coming out about a month after that post was made, one of the quotes that I got was, where was it? Hold on a second. Congratulations, but you cuss a lot.
Wait, but? I think the word but was the wrong word. Like, that's the wrong word. It was an accident.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, but I thought it was okay to just kind of be real. And, I always look at it and say, if you don't like what you're listening to, fuck it, just turn off the station. We had somebody that came up to us at one of our conferences that said we spend a lot of time on the show womanizing. And I'm thinking, well, then just turn us off. Isn't that the beauty of a podcast? Just don't listen to our fucking show if you think that I'm womanizing. I don't think that I do, but whatever.
I don't think you do.
No, I don't think.
I'm kind of a feminist, so I wouldn't listen to you if I thought you did, and I don't think you
do. The reality of it is that you saw me in the green room, and there was a lot of men in that green room, and I got to tell you that of all of the men that are in there, I was probably the biggest pussy of them all, wasn't I?
And and listen, they were all so kind though, and
they were
just sitting there eating lunch with that group of people. I have kind of had like a out of body experience. Like, I am sitting with some of these, they're just amazing, talented, smart, motivated people, and I would have paid to be there. Fortunately, I was paid to be there.
Yeah, what I found was so interesting, and I've done the green room duties many times. That was really the first time that. It was like a coffee clutch. We had people that were just coming into the green room just to share time with us.
Yeah, that was really great. I think it was because you were hanging out in there.
I don't know, but we could actually have a podcast called The Green Room.
Yeah, I'm into it. Let's do it.
It was such a fun experience to be able to put together all of these amazing talents, and we had business leaders from all over the country, probably all over the world. We had the guy that was I don't remember his name. I think it was Bill Amos. No, not Bill. Jim. He was the founder of Mailboxes, etc.
Yeah. Oh, he was interesting. He was very interesting.
We had a lot of egos in there.
Yeah.
You seem to handle egos with a lot of style and grace. And as a makeup artist, how challenging is that to kind of not hear the message, but just kind of do your job? Yeah, you have to communicate.
Right. I think I just kind of take my personal views and beliefs out of it. There was at one point people talking in there that I did not agree with at all, politically, and you just kind of have to smile and nod and take, there are enough egos in there. I take my ego out of it completely. You have to, as an artist, or you'll just get crushed. Yeah. So I just take my ego out of it and my personal views out of it, unless they're people that I agree with, and then I laugh along. And smile and nod and deliver great service, because in the end, I'm just a service provider.
Well, and you said that as a part of, right after I came out of the intro, you were talking about the important thing is understanding the business side of the art. And so can you talk about that for a second? Because I know that we have probably a lot of creatives in our audience that just, they have a creative soul, whether it's creative through marketing or creative through art or through creative just through writing or whatever they do. But it does come down to, this is a business that we're trying to make a living off of. So just talk about how that philosophy fits into your world.
Sure. I think one of the things that we talked about in the green room was that my goal when I got into this was to become a profitable makeup artist, not a professional makeup collector. And I see that a lot. I see people who are always buying the newest thing, but aren't investing in themselves as far as education and networking, and just dedicating time to the business side of things. Because in the end, you have to treat it like a business from the get-go. I mean, I have family members, friends who pay me to do their makeup for events because I've always treated it like a business. I don't treat it like a hobby, and it's hard to go from one to the other. If you start out either not charging people or not charging people enough, it's hard to raise your prices later. So starting out, not getting into it until you are ready to really commit to making it a business.
How did you know when this was the right thing for you? How did you start to feel like I'm in the zone and I'm in the right place and I'm different than the other people that are just collecting? Would you call them makeup collectors? How did you know when you were in the right? Yeah. How did you know when you started to get in the right zone?
Well, okay. So when I first got into this, I had worked in college. I'd worked cosmetics retail on and off, and so I was kind of familiar, and I had the aesthetic and the artistic kind of know-how, but I had no desire to be a makeup artist. And then when my husband was the one making the majority of the income, and I didn't have to bring in an income, I decided I wanted to do something fun and do what I wanted to do, since I didn't have to bring in any income. So I started doing weddings, and it kind of snowballed. And that second year that I did weddings, I did 75 in 1 year.
Okay, so wait. So before you move on from there, how do you go from doing 0 to 75? It's not just luck, and it's not just connections.
No,
it's got to be something you were doing properly at the job.
I fell in with a really great bridal company, and they saw my work ethic and saw that I have a couple of rules, and one of them is never be late. And that's half the job, right? If you show up on time and you're dressed appropriately, that's half of your job.
Isn't it amazing?
So, I mean, it's true. It sounds so simple. It's like writing your name at the top of your paper.
Well, how many makeup artists fuck up on that simple task of, hey, could you just be on time?
Right. And they feel like because they're an artist that they don't have to be a business person. They don't have to follow these rules. And it's just not the case. So this bridal company saw my work ethic, and I was quickly promoted to lead artist, and at the same time I was running her books. I was doing her payroll and scheduling and everything. So the trade-off on that was I got to be the first booked on everything. So I did 75 weddings in that second year, and that's when I really said to myself, like, this could be this could be a career. And now my husband is back in college, and I have 2 kids, and I'm putting my husband through college. So it's out of necessity that I make this profitable. It's a hustle. I have to say yes to everything and really push to make what I'm worth.
What are some of the common mistakes aside from just can't show up on time? Because let's make this relatable to, and I have to think, just from the conversations that we had in the green room, I have to think that a lot of the mistakes that people are making are very common, whether they're in the makeup industry or whether you're an auto mechanic or somebody that's an accountant. What are some of the common mistakes that you see in your world?
Gossiping.
Okay.
Talking, or just personal, like treating it like it's not a job again, and talking about personal matters, whether it's on social media or while a client is in your chair. These bitches aren't your friends.
That's got to be the leading quote. Hey, Strick, as you're editing this, I want the leading quote. I want the title of this episode to be "These bitches ain't your friends."
I stole that from a makeup artist named Bo Nelson, and he said that at the beginning of a conference when somebody asked him about working with celebrities, what the biggest mistake people make was, and he said, "These bitches aren't your friends. Don't treat them like they're your friends."
Gosh.
So I really do live by that. Also, the way that you dress, I have a dress code for myself, and it's no pits, no tits.
Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm really challenged now. These bitches aren't your friends, or no pits, no tits.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Explain the no pits, no tits rule.
Just because we're an artist and we're going in for a fun job, don't show up wearing, last night's makeup, looking like you're going to the club,
Right.
Look like a professional, read your crowd. If you're going to like what I did at C-Suite, if you're doing something like that, dress appropriately. Dress like you belong there. So that's a big one for sure.
You have a lot of ink.
I do.
Yep. So talk about your ink and how that not necessarily how you got it. I have ink also, but it's the stuff that is conversation maker many times, probably from the chair. Talk about it.
Yeah. 5 or so years ago, it wasn't quite as I wore long sleeves a lot more, but I'm finding now that it's a little more trendy and it's a little more accepted and it's kind of okay in most situations. A lot of the business people that I meet have tattoos that they just cover. So yeah, it is. And it's nice because it does kind of make me memorable, and people, when I see them for a second or third time, remember me from that first time because of it. And it does give you kind of an icebreaker. What's that one for? Or where'd you get that elephant? So
Nice Guy Community. Check it out. It's today's cover art. You'll be able to see Chantee. She's got I think is it your right arm you have an elephant, or your
I do. It's my right arm, yeah.
And is that the biggest tattoo that you have?
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of a half sleeve in itself. So, yeah.
Amazing. How challenging was that for your parents to accept?
My mother-in-law was the funniest because my husband has tattoos also, but of course, because he's a guy and he was in the military, it's okay. It was kind of I love the art, but I wish it was on your wall kind of situation. Because they're great tattoos, but, parents.
Yeah. No, I get it. Any famous people you've had in your chair?
Yes and no. I've worked with some celebrities in the same room, but been on like the extras side of it. Like I did a James Franco movie, but I was doing extras. But I was in the same room as him.
Yeah, that's good.
And then do you know that band LMFAO?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I did did like a promo video for him. So that was that was interesting. Yeah. So, but in Dallas, I don't get a lot of opportunity to work with celebrities, and it's not necessarily my end goal, but it is super fun.
So what's tell the Nice Guy Community, what's your business name so that everybody can, and we'll make sure we put a link in the show notes to it, but what's your business name and your website?
Yeah, it's just Makeup by Chantee, and that's CHANTEE. And my website is www.makeupbychantee.com. I try to keep it simple. My first name is long enough, so no last names.
I love that every time somebody would walk in and they had to do a double take on what your first name was, you said it's kind of like Enchante.
But you introduced me to everyone, which was really nice. I'm so used to like this is makeup and no first name, so that was really nice. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. The way that I was thinking about it was that you are their last contact before they hit the stage, and not that an audience of 200 or 300 people, I mean, that is enough people to make a lot of people nervous. So I would think if the last person that you see, except for the person that's handling you with the microphone on stage, is the makeup artist, you want that to be a personal experience. And I feel like, for me, I want everybody to know everybody. I'm like the ultimate. I want everybody to feel good. Let's XOXO everybody. Come on, group hug.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I love that. And yeah, I can be kind of a point of comfort for people because they, it's kind of like, make sure I look good, make sure I'm perfect. And that's, that's what I do. So I appreciated that a lot.
Sure. My pleasure. So respond to this quote. I'm just going to, and I've used this quote many times on the show. I just want to get your spin on it. Treat normal people like rock stars and rock stars like normal people.
So I don't like that quote just because I feel like it does put like boundaries on people, and it shouldn't even come into play what they do. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because I've heard that quote, and I, not that I don't agree with it. It's just the way the quote is phrased. It does
puts people in a class category automatically.
I just treat people like people. Just fucking be nice.
Yeah, exactly. And there can be some really normal people that have complete egos for no reason and complete douchebags. So
totally.
It's like, why do we need to separate them? I get it. I have always been of the mentality that the rock stars that in the entertainment business, and I'm not in any level of entertainment that people would say, oh my God, he's but I do get a chance to meet some pretty cool people, and I feel like the more normal you treat the people that are at a higher level, from a fame perspective, they actually can relate to, when you have an NFL star that comes to an event and you start to put the spotlight on them, they don't like it. But if you get out on the dance floor and do some stupid moves and show them how much of a person you really are, then they totally relate to you. So I don't know. I've always felt like rock stars are just normal people as well. It's just how I handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're so used to having yes men around them all the time. And I think it can probably be pretty refreshing for them to just have someone treat them like, a person.
So what's the next step in the world of makeup for you? Where do you get to go? What do you get to do? What do you want to do? What are your hopes?
Well, right now I'm traveling with a brand called Smith Cosmetics, and they are tools, so brushes and brush organizers, and I'm traveling with them to trade shows. So once a month or so, I spend 4 or 5 days with them. I go to Chicago next. I was just in New York with them. So that's been really fun, and a lot of opportunities and lots of networking, which I'm a huge fan of. So, just traveling with them and doing lots of models. My husband loves when I say that. And
I bet. Got any video? I'm sure.
But yeah, so just traveling and doing makeup, and that was one goal that I had for 2017 was to travel a lot. And so my goal for next year is more international travel. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting. Well, take off your makeup artist hat for a second and put on your entrepreneur's hat.
Sure.
I want to ask you a question or two just about building your business. Is there any tools that you use on a regular basis from a technology perspective? Again, not in the makeup world, but as an entrepreneur that you think would benefit someone that's listening to this right now?
The first thing that comes to mind is 17 Hats. Have you seen that? Do you know what that is?
I've heard of it, but I've never used it. What does it do?
So it's software that organizes your invoices, and you can kind of print up reports of in receivables and incoming and past due and all of that stuff. It also syncs with Google Calendar, so I can have my schedule in there, and it's just kind of an all-inclusive software.
Is it like a customer relationship management program, or does it not do like sales focused stuff?
Customers can't log in themselves. So
right. But
yeah.
Does it help you keep track of your customers?
It does.
I don't know it. I've heard of it, but I've never accessed the site. So if John Smith was a potential customer of yours, would it remind you, hey, you got to contact John Smith today because you haven't called him in 2 weeks or anything like that?
Exactly. You can kind of build a workflow.
Huh, okay.
Yeah,
17
and enter your
hats.
clients into that workflow. So that's really nice.
Interesting. Okay, and how about from a hack perspective? Anything that a personal mind hack, a life hack, anything that you do to trick yourself into being more successful, productive, efficient?
I mean, I'm a list maker. I have to see things, and not on the computer, not on my phone. I have to have like a tangible list. So I still carry around a notebook and a planner, and I mean, I have things on my iPhone too, but I need to have that kind of tangible visual there for me, and I have one of those huge dry erase calendars right in front of my desk in my office. Yeah, I just feel like it's kind of like The Secret, where I'm writing down the bookings I have for the next 2 months, and as soon as I write those down, I swear to God, more bookings come through. It's like I see empty spots.
Yeah, I need to fill the empty spot.
Yeah.
I gotta try that. I have a 4x6 sticky pad that I use, and every time I run out of the pad, of course I get a new pad. But that is my to-do list, and I keep. I'm very like you. I need to see it in front of me. If I write down my 20 things that I need to do for the day, that will be my task list, and I'll just start checking stuff off. Are you the kind of person that if you do a task that wasn't on the list, you write down the task just so you cross it off?
I absolutely do. 100%. Yes.
such a great feeling of accomplishment being able to
it
being
really
able to
is.
do that.
It's like a pat on my own back.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to get more info about, I'm assuming you would travel and that you would hire for makeup, right?
I absolutely do travel. I travel quite a bit actually. And it's all on my website, and I don't have Dallas on my website because of that reason. I don't want to limit myself. So it's just www.makeupbychantee.com, and all my information is on there to reach to me.
Chantee does great work. She actually removes all of the shine. That was like the biggest thing. You really didn't have to get into a lot of like really heavy duty like makeup. Most of the speakers were guys, and you probably hit them with some eyeshadow, and they'd be really pissed at you. But,
yeah.
Just taking the shine out. What's the technique? How do you know? Like, you were actually checking out the TV set to see. Yeah, they look like they have some shine on their head. We got to fix that.
Well, the first thing I do when I go to something like that where it's going to be filmed is I go and I look at the lights first before anybody even gets there, and check that out and make sure that I have set out what I need to accommodate that. I always bring my own light with me that is natural daylight, so I'm not working under basement lighting.
Right.
And yeah, I try to make sure that I have a monitor that I can see at all times, because lighting changes. If you're shooting in natural light, the sun goes down, whatever, I want to make sure that I'm covered. And, you're hired for one job. Do it right.
Do it right. Exactly. Man, oh man. If we could all just kind of get that through our thick heads, we were hired for a job, just do the job. Do it well, do it with a good attitude, and communicate effectively with people, build relationships. I mean, all the shit that it can work. It doesn't matter whether you're a makeup artist or whatever you do in life. If you can do it with a positive attitude and build relationships, you're going to succeed at whatever you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree.
So Chantee, let's play a game for a second. You get an invitation in the mail. Okay, I know you like to go places, and you actually get to be a guest. Bottom left-hand corner of the invitation, it says to you, the dress code. Sometimes it says black tie required or casual chic or whatever. What would be the dress code that you would be most attracted to?
Honestly, it wouldn't matter, because I would just show up in all black anyway. But I do like dressing up, so I would say black tie. I love dressing. I don't get the chance very often. I have 2 little kids, and I work a ton, and so I don't really get a chance to really go all out. So yeah, black tie for sure.
All right, excellent. All right, you have your phone anywhere near you?
I do.
Okay, great. Do you have an iPhone or something inferior?
I have an iPhone.
Okay, good. So go to your texting app. What is the last text message you either sent or received? Hopefully it's you talking about one of those models.
It's my friend Tabby, whose husband Austin I got listening to your podcast, and she just said good luck today with lots of pink hearts.
Oh, nice, nice. So
yeah.
it was nice guy related. Okay, go to your photo app and tell me what's the last thing you took a picture of.
Okay, photo app.
This will be you doing one of the artists. I mean, one of the models.
It is actually, yeah.
Oh, yes. Everybody clothed? Everybody clothed?
Everybody's got clothes on, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No pits, no tits. I
no
got
pits,
it.
No
I remember. So what is it of?
It's a model that I did for a workshop in Chicago where I assisted, I helped out on for the workshop. So I work with this international educator, Erica Carr, and she facilitates these workshops. Well, she did one in Chicago, and I went out there, and one of the educators, Stephen Dimmick, had this model that he did this crazy, David Bowie, super, super colorful look on. And the photographer kind of threw me a bone and said, you have 20 minutes. If you can get her a clean beauty look on her for her agency, I'll shoot her. So I had 20 minutes to take that off and put a clean beauty look on her. So I just got the pictures back from that.
Jesus, dude, you don't have to be such a fucking prick, is what I would say. 20 minutes. Give me a few more minutes than that. Throw me a bone.
She had 20 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. Does anybody really? Okay, he only has 22 minutes. When fucking people, when they do that, I have to say, I loved having Gary Vee on the show, but the thing I felt most about it is I'm feeling fucking rushed, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we can't have a scheduled time that we stick to, but why do you have to remind me this is my business? It's like you have to remind me who he is.
Yeah, 4.5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have 4.5 minutes. Fuck off.
As I'm scrubbing purple eyeliner off of the inside of her eye with a Q-tip, and she's the model was paid to be there and had to leave at a certain time, so I was grateful.
I get it.
I was grateful.
No, you're very diplomatic about where you're saying it. I was pissed for you. Okay? I'm sorry. I was being pissed. I was being pissed for you. Oh wow! So let's see. What else do we have to talk about? I think we got it. When's a book coming out? You got to have a book or something.
No book.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't be. I wouldn't hate having a podcast, but it would have to be something where it would have to be a round table discussion all the time. I don't think I could carry a podcast on my own.
Well, that's why with Strickland, it makes, you've heard the banter back and forth.
Yeah.
We don't know what the fuck that we're doing individually, but together we can accomplish so much. Strickland's like my bride.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It just makes more sense. So I think that would be really fun. There are enough books out there. I always get people who ask, are you going to make tutorial videos, or are you going to make products? And like, there's so many people that do that and do that very well. Not for me.
Chantee, I'm thinking there is a podcast in your future, and something like the Green Room, or I don't know what you would call it, but there's a bunch of stuff. I want to be in the development phase of that podcast. I'm a little busy. I'm way too important to have another podcast, but you know how it is.
I'm into it. I know. I was one of the questions on the survey that you send over is, if you have a podcast, what's the name of it? And my husband, he's much wittier than I am, and he said #blushed.
Oh, that's good.
Isn't that good?
That's
I
really
thought it was good. Yeah,
really good. No, I like that. I like what you chose as the song that represented your life. You chose "Another One Bites the Dust."
The story behind that is that I used to work with a guy who knew everything, like knew all the things, facts about random things, and that was the number one song on the day I was born.
Oh, interesting.
Now you know how old I am.
Well, I would if I actually had the ability to do something other than have a conversation at the same time. Strickland will know the exact day, month, and year that it came out. He'll tell you where it was on the charts. He'll tell us all about Freddie Mercury and the other 12 names of the guys that were in Queen as well, I'm sure.
Oh, I can't wait to hear him chime in.
Chantee, thank you so much for not only just the great business lessons that you learned, but for being a friend of the community and for sharing the word of the Nice Guys on Business podcast. Thanks.
Absolutely.
My pleasure for having you here. Thank you so much. And Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Chantee Willis for being on the show today. Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
Call 4242 DJ Doug and record an intro for the show to hear on a future episode. Say anything you want. Hell, take my job. I'm getting sick of these guys anyway. We still rolling? Don't tell him I said that.